We're with Director of Track and Field and Cross Country Guy Murray. And Coach, we're looking ahead to some of the Olympics coming up in London. Coach, how can we make the most of our Olympic viewing experience in London this year?
Well, that's a good question, and hopefully everybody's enjoying the first week of the Olympics and figuring their way out through NBC's coverage and everything online. Here in Detroit, we're a little bit at a loss without the great coverage from the folks over in Canada. CBC does not have the Olympics, but fortunately NBC picked up with showing things live online, and so we've done a little bit at home with NBCOlympics.com, or you can get an app for the iPad that you can get all the Olympics live. I haven't played with that too much, but my kids seem to be doing okay with it. So sorting through that, figuring out, if you want to watch it live or you want to go in the bubble to catch the NBC, tape delay experience. But also to supplement, as I recommend, go to trackandfieldnews.com, find their previews. They got a handy one-page sheet on each event that gives you their top 10, the scoop, the stats, the all-time top 10, and the winner since 1972. Used to be my favorite issue of Track and Field News, but the modern era has forced it all online. And then, supplement with the websites, obviously what I mentioned, NBCOlympics.com, but for track and field, you should be going to letsrun.com and get the stories and scoops from them.
Coach, let's take a little bit of a closer look at some of the bigger events coming up that you might want to talk about and let us know.
The first weekend, track and field, after a week of the Olympics, kind of to warm you up for the real reason of the Olympics is the track and field. The track and field gets started with the men's shot put, and that's on Friday, August 3rd. The shot put, always a great competition, and the weather in London is going to say a lot of what happens this Olympics, because if it rains, which kind of happens once in a while there, the guys that do the spin and the shot put can have trouble, and big guys trying to stay in rings. If you want to watch a field event, I recommend going online, because if there's not an American in it, NBC doesn't seem to follow it too much. But right now, Track and Field News has Reese Hoffa predicted to win, and Dylan Armstrong from Canada is right in there, but they say any of the six could win it. Also, the first night is the women's 10,000, which is Kenya versus Ethiopia. You got the defending champion, Turnish Dibaba, versus the reigning world champion, Vivian Cheruiyot. And Kenya versus Ethiopia, which they'll have their other two competitors there as well. Kenya versus Ethiopia is a rivalry very much like Michigan-Ohio State, only that a war might break out over what happens in this race. So that was the first finals on day one. You move on to day two, the 20K walk, which those, I won't proclaim to be an expert there, but watch the judges, because unfortunately, just like gymnastics, the Russian judge may get the Chinese guy, and the Chinese judge is going to get at the Russian, with the Mexicans trying to keep in. Also that second day, you've got the women's discus final, the men's long jump. You've got the heptathlon, which is the 7 events over 2 days, which that's always a fun competition to kind of track as you go through. The men's 10,000 is next, and that one's going to be a lot of fun, as you've got Kenise Bekele, arguably the all-time greatest distance runner, coming off an injury. So the question is, does he have enough time to hold off the challenge of Great Britain's Mo Farah, and the United States' Galen Rupp is going to be right in there. Mo Farah and Galen Rupp train together, and look for a little team tactics between those guys, and it will come down to the last 400 meters, and everybody's honed their kicks, because Bekele, that's what he's destroyed a lot of people with his kick. And also that first day is the women's 100 meter, or the second day, women's 100 meter, which that's Jamaicans versus U.S. with the girl from Nigeria trying to get in there. So anything can happen in the rain and the cold of London. The women's marathon starts off day 3. The marathon's always a great event. The weather in London will be conducive, so I think the form chart maybe will hold up, as there's 3 women, the Mary Kitani from Kenya, the Russian, and Edna Kitlagat, all under 220, which the weather will hold that up. News, not real great for our area, is Desiree Davila, who trains with the Hansons here in Rochester, has a hip injury and at one point thought she was going to pull out, but I guess she's going to give it a go. So that's sad news that the health couldn't work out as Desiree battles well and is fun to watch run. Move on, you got the women's triple jump, hammer throw, the 400 meters is that day 3 as well, and American Sonia Richards-Ross looked great at the Olympic trials and seems ready to win a gold medal. Steeplechase, pick your Kenyan, that's their event, and they're going to dominate. They should dominate as well. Hopefully the American Evan Yeager that set an American record of 8:06 a couple weeks ago, hopefully holds that form and keeps us in the mix for a little while and represents us well in that event. And then Sunday I'll end with the 100 meters, and as we know, Usain Bolt has done some great things in the last championships, but unfortunately I would say don't look for a world record in the weather conditions in London won't be right. Usain Bolt also had some injury issues this year. Track and Field News is predicting Johan Blake, who won the Jamaican trials, to win, and hopefully our own Tyson Gay can get through his health injuries and make it a lot of fun. 100 meters is always a very dramatic race, and I would expect nothing but that this time around as well.
Well, there you have it. There's a bit of a rundown of a little bit of the first week of action. Coach, it's a full schedule ahead.
Yep, the first weekend is only just the tip of the iceberg. It'll only get better, and the stories will start developing once we get started on Friday. And look forward to catching all the moments somehow via online or on TV and following the great competition.